those of you that are wondering if Mamey can fruit in a 25-gallon pot, look how many fruit are on this. You can do it, but for that, to get to this, you're looking at maybe 10 years. In a pot, big fruit, almost ready, this Magana, Sunrise in a 25-gallon pot. That's my favorite variety, folks. This is their Jujube section. Amazing. Look how big it's gonna take over. Jujube, as I often say, is gonna be one of the biggest trees. This is the Excalibur variety, and I recently got a tree, put it in the ground because I want to see how this variety is actually gonna taste. They have like 4 or 5 different varieties of trees here, and they're picking these from the giant trees they have in the ground. I wish they would say, well, this is this variety, this is this variety. Maybe after this video they will. Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees, and here I am at Excalibur Fruit Trees. The most amazing nursery you've ever seen, one of the biggest here in South Florida, definitely the biggest north of Homestead, and they have amazing fruit trees. And the biggest selection, it's amazing. Go to their website and check it out. I'll put the link below. But today we're going to drive around and we're going to look at the trees that they have in pots, in big pots. And if you have the space, yes, it costs more money to get a big tree, but it's so worth it because you're getting fruit right away. And that's what I would do if I had to start all over again. My yard is flourishing right now and I love it, but I had to wait years for it to do that. But if I could find the fruit trees that I want in big sizes, I'll pay the extra money to do that so I get the fruit sooner. It just makes sense if you can do it. Some of them, you got to get delivered, they're that big. But, you know, you can grow in pots, but they'll deliver a big pot and put it right in the ground. Let's check it out here today and let's see what we're talking about. I'm going to show you around and show you it's possible to grow in pots fruit trees successfully. We're going to go around and look at this amazing nursery. Here's where I ended off, where I'm starting the black sapotes. We'll look at that at the end. Just amazing fruit trees. And it is very possible to grow in pots and have tons of fruit on your trees. Very possible. So keep that in mind. We're going to have a great time today. This is a wonderful nursery here in Lake Worth, Florida. And definitely check them out. Here we go. Folks, look at this. This is Excalibur Fruit Trees. Now, I go to a lot of nurseries, and if you want to get a fruit tree, the nurseries that I go to are wonderful. But if you want to get a big fruit tree, you're not going to find a place better than this to get a big fruit tree. I mean, look at this. This is only their Mamey area. And that must be, I don't know, a couple of 100-gallon pot. This is the Excalibur variety of Mamey. They have other varieties here as well. Magana, those are 25 gallons. Somebody's going to come here and get a great deal. Look, fruiting. For those of you that are wondering if Mamey can fruit in a 25-gallon pot, this is Lorito variety, which is an amazing variety. Look how many fruit are on this. In a pot, a 25-gallon pot. You can do it. So I wanted to come here and just show you some of the amazing things you could do here. And I made a video before showing growing in pots. Now, if you're going to buy a tree, I wish I had the room for Mamey. Look, you could have fruit right away. Now, you're going to have trouble. That might be 200-gallon pot. You're going to have trouble getting that in your car, but they deliver. And there's no issues with any mislabels here, because look, if they're this big, you know exactly what you're getting because the fruit's on the tree. You might even be able to taste it. Like the black sapote section, we'll go over there right now. It's in season. You can pull one right off the tree and taste it. But this is their Mamey section. And besides showing you this impressive section of Mamey trees, I'm going to show you some other trees. But I wanted to also show you that trees will work in pots for a good amount of time. Now, this pot here might be, I don't know, 200 gallons. At least 100 gallon, at least. But look how many fruit are on there. And look how much it's flowering. And this is a Mamey, one of the biggest trees you'll find. Now, eventually, these will need to get in the ground. Some of them might have already rooted into the ground. But it's just to show you that this is possible to be done. Look at this. So I'm going to go show you some of the other areas. Now, if you want to get or see a smaller variety, not all of you have the access I do, so I wanted to show you here. But this here, look at the size of this. These are magana, and that's how you know if it's ripe. I did that. You see that? That means it's not ripe yet. If you do that and it's red, that means it's ripe for the Mamey. But that is in a pot, big fruit, almost ready. This magana, I believe it's magana, yeah. And you can get a big one. But look, if you want to get realistic and you're growing by yourself, a 25 or 45 gallon pot is doable at home. Will you get fruit in that? And here's your answer, folks. Here's your answer. This tree here, Mamey, I think this was the Lorito, in a pot, 25 gallon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fruits. You can do this. This is possible. There's Plantain, which is Key West. When it comes to Mamey, magana and Plantain are the two most popular ones. Plantain's also called Key West. These 25 gallons have flowers, but they don't have fruit. Now, look at that one. That's must be a 200 gallon there. Either way, then they have some smaller varieties if you want to get a smaller variety here. These are newly potted, and what they do is they take the seed, and this is what nurseries do. They take the seed and they grow the seed, and then right here they top work it. They cut it here, and they put the variety they want. And if it takes, they let it grow out, and now you have that particular tree. So Excalibur is been around a long time here. Maybe one of South Florida's biggest nurseries. And I like it. I'm in West Palm and they're right near my house. Most of the bigger ones are down in Homestead. So this one's great because they're easy to get to for people. Look at these. I don't know how big this is, but if they're going to deliver this to my house, if I'm looking for a tree, you don't even have to wait till next year. It has fruit on it now. Otherwise, if you buy a tree that size, which I'm not against, but for that to get to this, you're looking at maybe 10 years, maybe longer. So if you have the space and the money, I'd go for this instead of that. But even those are pretty big. That's 7 gallons there. Put that in a pot, let it grow, and wait. But if you go right behind there and you see the big ones with fruit on there, so you don't have to get one this big, but a 25-gallon or a 45-gallon. Why not? Let it grow. So if you look in here, here's some jackfruit trees they have. Humongous jackfruit trees. This place is just impressive. And if you come here at the right time, they'll drive you around and they'll show you everything they have growing here. And here's a jackfruit here. Really super impressive if you want to get a jackfruit. Jackfruit grows much faster than Mamey, but why wait? Look, loaded. Have them put that tree in your yard. You don't have to wait at all. You know, you can get to see the shapes of the trees. There's a tree here that has a particular shape. Maybe you like that shape. Maybe you fall in love with something unique. But when you're buying these this big, now some of these might have already broken apart and fruited right into the ground. So you got to stay on this if you're growing these at home. Look like these. These were in little pots. And I don't know, these look like mulberries maybe. And they just grew right up. A lot of the things here grew into the ground. Some of the things here have been neglected over the years. But a lot of them are available for delivery. We're going to take a look around this today. All right, I've been here before and I've been driving around, but I wanted to get out and show you some of the things they have here and just get a closer look at how things grow in the pot. So let's take a ride. Here we go. All these giant fruit trees that are for sale. And again, you don't have to wait for the fruit. Now you can get fruit in a 25-gallon, which I'm going to show you. But just so impressed with these big pots and knowing that you can grow right out of the ground. This is their Jujube section. And Jujubes are coming into season right now. There are some smaller ones, but look, Jujubes. It's Jujube season right now, folks. Let's take a look at this in the pot. Let's see what we got growing on here in the pot. Look. These are almost ready. Wonderful. These are Thai Jujubes. Now these grow fast. So I don't know. You wouldn't need to buy a big pot like this of the Jujubes, but definitely grab a small one. But just to see the growing habit of these. I hope this video makes it worth it for that alone. Look at some of these trees. All right, let's go over to another area. Smells like Starfruit. So this is their Starfruit area. And again, they have small plants in all of this. And then I'm just gonna walk and we'll see what they got growing on here. Hold on. I'll turn the camera around here and show you guys. All right, look at this size pot. Wow. Wow. But look, loaded with starfruit. Now you can't grow in pots this big unless you have special machinery to do that. That's one thing. So you realistically understand that and know that. You need machinery, big machines to move this stuff. But 25 gallon, 45 gallon, that's something you can do at your house. Here's their, so all this is their start fruit selection. And they will drive you around and let you look at these different trees if you're interested in buying one, which is really cool. They have smaller varieties as well. See, there's their big machine that you're gonna need. But they deliver, which is a wonderful. And they have different varieties of all the fruits. That one's called Heart. I don't know what variety, unless it's a different pot. Heart, I haven't even heard of that variety. They got the Bell, they got the Kerry. I haven't heard of that variety. Heart. So they have some really interesting, cool varieties here. That's Starfruit. Let's take a look and see some of the other amazing varieties. And if you want to get one, here they go in the smaller gallon. Now again, Starfruit grows pretty fast as well. I personally wouldn't get a Starfruit in a big container. I would get Mamey in a big container. The trees that take slower to grow, but Jujube and Starfruit, for those, I'd stick to a smaller gallon size. They grow pretty quickly. Mamey, you want to come here and get a big Mamey. Let's take a look at some more. All right, we're at their big mango section because they got a big section with a lot of things, but I'm at their mango section now. And check this out. This is a dwarf mango tree called Cogshaw. Look, that's not a dwarf. Look at it. But that might be in there 20 years. That looks like a 200-gallon container. They can deliver this to your house and you're set. I don't particularly like that variety myself, but some people do. But here's an ice cream. I love this variety. This has to be a 20-year tree. I mean, this is a slow grower. Look how big and beautiful it is. Beautiful. But the great thing is, and why I'm here, is to show you you can grow in pots. Now, again, it's not realistic because that is a 200-gallon pot. And you're not going to be able to move that without either 10 guys or a machine. But it's possible. They have all these big mango trees. They have small ones as well. But showing you that it can be done in a pot. That's Excalibur mango. I mean, if you get a mango in a 25-gallon, 45, you can do that yourself at home and have enough mangoes. I don't recommend letting mangoes get too big anyway, but it's very impressive to see what they're growing here. Let's see some other things. This is all their mangoes. They have small ones. These are their big ones. when we get into some of the other things they grow here. If you go to their website, they have an amazing list of not just what they have, but the different varieties of everything they have. A really, truly amazing list. Here's some smaller mangoes. There's an Ugly Betty. So these are 25-gallon pots. And a lot of the nurseries I go to have the smaller size. But here they have bigger sizes. Probably bigger selection than anyone else. Whoa. My favorite here is Sunrise. Sunrise in a 25-gallon pot. That's my favorite variety, folks. There's another one back there. Grab this, folks. No one I know has a Sunrise in a 25-gallon pot. That's that tall and beautiful. Somebody watching this video, if you're into mangoes, that's the one you want right there. Sunrise Mango in a 25-gallon pot. It looks like they have two of them. Those might be Sunrise. I don't know. No, those are, there's two more. But they have tags on them, so it looks like somebody might have bought them. Because they have those candy cane tags. It looks like they're spoken for, but this one isn't. So there's two available. Well, all of these are Sunrise. Back there is another one that looks like somebody's watching my videos, because those Sunrise are accounted for. Well, you snooze, you lose, folks. So here's all their mangoes. Lemon Zest is the best tasting. Depending where you're located, some people don't have any issue with them growing, some do. 25-gallon Lemon Zest. This is truly a wonderland here. All right. So definitely call them and see what they got. If you want to pick up a mango tree. Bombay. Here's Bombay mango. All right, let's go see what else they have. So just to show you all, you can grow in pots. I'm here now, that Canistel section. And just to turn this around now and show you. These are 25-gallon. And they're fruiting. And some of them have a lot of fruit up there. So you can grow fruit in trees. Here are smaller sizes. And those have fruit as well. 15-gallon pots. Here's a 25-gallon pot just loaded with fruit. So that's their Canistel, also known as eggfruit. And all around their property, they have trees growing in pots just like this. There's a juicy peach, mango. So you can do it, folks. That's a 45-gallon pot, probably, maybe a 65-gallon. It's not taking up much space. They're not going to get a ton of mangoes in some of these potted trees. Some they will. But just to show you that it can be done. And you want to make sure that it doesn't root through. Some of these might have already rooted through. But I wanted to show you here that it's very possible to do this. You do not need a lot of land. You could do this over cement. You can put this in your driveway. You don't have to rip up your driveway. And and you can get this done and make this happen. Look. And it's not always going to be like that. Eventually, you will need to get it out of the pot or up-pot it. And you can't do that without machinery. But for years, you can enjoy trees like this growing in pots. Look at that one back there. Look at that. Amazing. Here's a great example. Orange essence. Look at this, folks. Orange essence. M4. So if you have this pot, you don't have space, right? You come here, you get this tree. They deliver it to your house. Now you have an M4 mango tree growing. And maybe you have space in the ground, but there's not enough space because there's other trees. Throw that in your driveway. You have more room to grow there in your driveway. Leave it in a pot. It won't stay there forever, but you might get 5 years of good tasting fruit. And then you can decide to either sell it or get it in the ground. The fruit you'll get from that outweighs the price. There's an orange essence. So these are like late season over here. Beautiful orange essence in the pot. You got to make sure you water them if you're going to leave these in a pot, and make sure they don't root through. So I'm going to look at a couple more here before we finish. But every variety, there's nothing that can't grow successfully in a pot. It is more work. But as you see, it's possible. So that's what I want to show you here, that it's possible. If that's the best you can do, or if that's what you want to do, it's possible. And of course, they sell smaller varieties of everything. You know, but it's just wonderful to see everything they have growing here. I'm so thankful for this place. Here's the Jaboticabas. Here's one. Here's a red Jabo growing in a pot. I just put one in a 45 gallon pot. So and some of these trees are beautiful. Look at this beautiful tree right here. It's flowering. Absolutely gorgeous mango tree. Cute look in a pot. Just gorgeous. So get on out here and check out this amazing selection. You go on their website. The website, that's what I recommend. Go on their website. The website will tell you everything they have, and then you call them up and see if it's available. Because not everything's available. They'll tell you what's available of those things. Tell them you're coming to get it. They'll have it waiting for you. Or they'll deliver it. They have a delivery service. They'll deliver it. Let's go this way here. I want to show you their black sapote before we end. Because it's black sapote season now. So I'm going to take you there. So this is their Jujube. Look at this Jujube. Look at the Jujube in this 200 or 300 gallon pot. But look, folks. There was a Jujube tree here in a pot that grew so big it broke through the pot. And they let it go into the ground. But if you don't trim a Jujube, this is what you're looking at. Amazing. And it is Jujube season right now. Amazing. Look how big it's going to take over. Jujube, as I often say, is going to be one of the biggest trees if you don't cut him back. That's Jujube. All right, let's see the black sapote before we finish up here. All right, everybody, here is their black sapote area. And these are the Excalibur variety. And all of these trees are the same variety, Excalibur. And that's what I actually came here today to get these. They're in season now. But if you get a 25-gallon tree, Excalibur variety, completely loaded right now. I haven't tasted this variety. I tasted it once. I don't remember how it was. So I'll be doing a review on them on that. But I wanted to show you because I came here during the summertime and I actually bought one of their trees of the black sapote because I wanted to test out this variety, and it was the only place I could find a big black sapote tree ready to fruit. And I did. But this is the Excalibur variety. It's rounder. It looks similar to a Wilson, but smaller. And here's their smaller trees of them. And they just say black sapote, but they're all Excalibur. And here it is. Look at this 25-gallon. Look. Absolutely loaded. Loaded. And this is how you know when they're ripe. When you pick them, when it lifts up. But this, a 25-gallon tree, loaded with fruit. If this variety is as good as the others, you want to come here and grab. This is the only place that has black sapote trees this size. You're getting fruit right away. Now, they only have that variety here, so that's the only thing to think about. But it's still a great thing. So let's go deeper in here. Here they have a 45-gallon. Folks, wow. Wow. All right, everybody, there it was. I told you, this place is amazing. You want to call them up and make sure that they have what's in stock when you come here, or get it delivered to your house. But if you're looking for a big fruit tree, this is the place you want to go. You can grow fruit trees in a pot long-term successfully. And, you know, forever is another story. Eventually, they should get in the ground. But you can do it. All right, everybody, there it is. Excalibur Fruit Trees. Get to their website. The link's below. And call them up and see what they have growing on here. Amazing nursery, great people, and they even have fruit for sale here. And especially during mango season, this place is rocking. There's so many mangoes during a mango season. And definitely come check them out. Right now, during this video, they have some black sapote and some starfruit available. We saw their amazing selection of fruit trees, but they only have one variety here for sale, and this is the Excalibur variety. And I recently got a tree, put it in the ground because I want to see how this variety is actually going to taste and do compared to the other varieties. Keep in mind, when you come here, when you buy fruit, they don't have the different varieties of the different fruit trees that they're picking the fruit from with all the different fruit. But black sapote, since they only have one variety, then you know you're getting the black sapote Excalibur variety. So you would think. I came here recently and I was really excited because I wanted to taste it. And they had some fruit here and they said that came from somebody else's tree. Yes, they pick fruit from other local trees as well, not just the ones they have here. So one of the things I wish they did here was when they have fruit displayed out here, they do with the mangoes. I wish they did it with everything. See, when they have mangoes here, they have a big display of mangoes and they say what variety everything is. I wish they would do that with everything else and tell you what, like for example, they have this big box here now of carambola, right? It's carambola season. They have like 4 or 5 different varieties of trees here. And they're picking these from the giant trees they have in the ground. I wish they would say, well, this is this variety, this is this variety. Maybe after this video they will. But that would be definitely cool because then you get to taste the different varieties and you know what tree you want to get. Same thing, even though they have the black sapote here, they only have one tree. But if they're getting it from somebody, one of their neighbors is selling them fruit to sell, they're not distinguishing the variety. But they do it with the mangoes, and it's great with the mangoes. But then they got like so many varieties of jackfruit trees here. Why don't they do that with the jackfruits or anything else? So I'm going to talk to them and see if they can do that. It would be more work for them, but it'll make it worth it. Avocados, same situation. Sometimes they label the avocados, but here's what they sell here, and I definitely recommend you come down here and check them out. They have bananas, they have starfruit, then they have avocados, mangoes, then they have the more exotic stuff like Mamey, long and liche, Jaboticaba, and Sapote. So very cool. So all right, everybody, thank you. Thank you for checking that out. I'll talk to them here and see what they have to say. Right now they have a small selection because it's during winter time, but in the summer they definitely have a lot more fruit. But they always have fruit here for sale. But call them up first and see what they got. Thanks for watching, everybody. Get on out to this place, Excalibur Fruit Trees. Have a great day and keep growing.